gold rush is often remembered as a thrilling chapter in American history, a time when ordinary people struck it rich and transformed their lives overnight. In 1848, when gold was discovered at Sutter's Mill in California, the news spread rapidly across the United States and the world. Thousands abandoned their homes, jobs, and families, chasing the promise of instant wealth. Farmers left their land, sailors deserted ships, and entire towns were emptied by the dream of gold. But the reality behind the excitement was far harsher. Most prospectors arrived with little preparation, limited supplies, and unrealistic expectations. The journey itself was dangerous. Some traveled across unforgiving deserts, others sailed around South America or endured disease-filled ship voyages. Many died before ever reaching California. Those who survived arrived to find overcrowded mining camps, scarce resources, and brutal competition. Gold was not lying freely on the ground, as many had imagined. Extracting it required exhausting labor, long hours, and expensive equipment. The easiest deposits were claimed quickly, leaving latecomers struggling for survival. Prices for food, tools, and shelter skyrocketed, benefiting merchants far more than miners. For every person who struck gold, thousands found only debt and disappointment. The gold rush sold a dream of opportunity, but from the beginning it was built on illusion. Hope attracted the masses, while reality tested their endurance. The promise of wealth masked the dangers, inequalities, and suffering that defined life in the gold fields. As mining camps expanded, lawlessness followed. With little government presence, justice was often enforced through violence. Theft, assault, and murder were common. Vigilante groups formed, sometimes to maintain order, but often to impose fear and control. Disputes over land claims regularly turned deadly, and life was cheap in the pursuit of gold. Native American communities suffered devastating consequences. As miners flooded into California, indigenous lands were seized, rivers polluted, and food sources destroyed. Violence against Native Americans was widespread and often encouraged or ignored by authorities. Entire communities were displaced or wiped out, marking one of the darkest chapters of the gold rush era. Immigrant laborers also faced extreme exploitation. Chinese miners, who played a crucial role in mining operations, were subjected to racism, special taxes, and physical attacks. Laws were created to push them out of profitable claims, forcing them into dangerous or undesirable work. Despite their contributions, they were treated as outsiders in a land built partly by their labor. Environmental destruction spread rapidly. Rivers were poisoned with mercury, forests were cleared, and landscapes permanently scarred. The pursuit of gold showed little regard for sustainability or human cost. What mattered was speed and profit. Behind the image of adventure was a world shaped by greed, inequality, and suffering. The gold rush created wealth, but it also destroyed lives, cultures, and environments, leaving scars that remain visible today. Despite the legend of self-made miners, very few people became wealthy by finding gold. Most prospectors eventually gave up, returning home poorer than before or settling into low-paying labor. The real winners of the gold rush were not miners, but businessmen, store owners, bankers, railroad companies, and land speculators who profited from the constant flow of people. San Francisco grew rapidly, fueled by commerce rather than gold. Merchants sold supplies at inflated prices, while transportation companies charged enormous fees. These industries built lasting wealth and infrastructure, shaping California's economic future. The myth of the lone prospector striking it rich distracted from the reality that capitalism, not chance, created success. The gold rush accelerated California's statehood and transformed the United States into a Pacific power. However, it also intensified social divisions and inequality. Wealth concentrated in the hands of a few, while marginalized groups paid the price. The damage to native communities, immigrant laborers, and the environment was never fully repaired. Today, the gold rush is remembered with nostalgia and pride, but its darker reality is often ignored. It was not simply a story of opportunity. It was a warning about unchecked greed and exploitation. Understanding the true history of the gold rush means recognizing that progress came at an enormous human cost. The real legacy of the gold rush is not gold itself, but the lessons it left behind about ambition, power, and the price of chasing dreams without limits.